Welcome back to another episode of Ask Dave, brought to you by Species Nutrition on RxMuscle.com. This is the pre-Thanksgiving episode of Ask Dave, so if you have any questions on diet, training, supplementation, IFBB pros, competitions, or anything as far as Thanksgiving is concerned, it is all on the table. We usually come to you at 4 p.m., sometimes 4:30 p.m. Today we're coming to you 5:30. Why? Honestly, I was stuck in traffic. It is New York. Johnny and Dave are now in Florida. I'm still here. I was stuck in an hour's worth of pre-Thanksgiving traffic. Go look at Google Maps right now, see all those red lines. I was in one of those lines. We now bring in Dave Palumbo. Dave, week 4, I believe, now in Florida. Why don't you give our fans an update as to your experiences down in the Sunshine State?
The weather is beautiful. There's no traffic. I'm relaxed. I spent a lot of money on buying fruit trees for my property because Amanda and I want to plant all kinds of fruit trees. We got red ruby grapefruits. We got sugar bell oranges, dragon fruit. We got mangoes, avocados. What else did we get? We went crazy in the nursery there. Those are being planted. Our new bedroom set came today, so that was nice. And all's well in the world. But it's busy. It's a busy week. Obviously, Thanksgiving coming up. My family's not here, but I'll be spending it with Amanda's mom, so that'll be relaxing. I know Johnny's got some family down for Thanksgiving, and Friday's back to work. And then next week, Johnny and I are off to San Marino. So I know we got the Sharu Classic Dubai this week. So there's some heavy competition. Ruli Winkler, obviously the favorite on that. I'll be releasing a video probably tomorrow on my preview of that show. And then obviously the week after, we have the San Marino Pro we'll be out at. And that'll be the last pro show of the season. So that's exciting. We're going all the way into December this year. It's crazy how these pro shows just get later and later. But once that's over, pretty much the competition season is done, and then we're going to really focus on all the new TV programming we got coming out. So it's an exciting time. Our regular studio is not built yet, the new one, but our little makeshift studio is doing the job, and that's it.
Right now on our RxMuscle.com homepage, as well as the YouTube channel, yesterday's episode of Live with Terrence Ruffin, one of the rising stars in the classic physique division, came in 9th at the Olympia, 22 years old. Very, very impressive. So catch that interview, as well as the NPC Nationals overall winner, Sean Vasquez. That too is available on the RxMuscle.com homepage, as well as our YouTube channel. Let's go right into our questions. If you want to join us, you can join us in the RxMuscle.com Muscle Central Forum on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us live, you can ask the questions on the right-hand side, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter using hashtag AskDave. Let's go to, it's a long name, Brop. Dave, do you feel that waxy maize is a superior post-workout carb source than dextrose? If yes, why?
I think all the high molecular weight carbohydrates are pretty much equal. I've said this before, whether it be waxy maize, Vitargo, high weight amylopectin, and I think they're superior to sugar, which dextrose is sugar. Sugar tends to draw water into the stomach. The high molecular weight carbs leave the stomach very quickly, very rapidly, without me going into the physics of it. They just have the ability to travel through the stomach quickly without causing bloating, going into the bloodstream. They're large molecules. They draw nutrients with them. That's another impressive ability that they have above sugar, which is a very small molecule. And I just think that they deliver a superior performance. In other words, they reglycogenate the muscle faster, okay? And they do it without that bloat. I think a lot of people hate taking sugar post-workout because it just makes them feel terrible after. And I'm not a big fan of sugar. We used it back in the day, glucose polymers. We used just regular grape juice because there was nothing else available. The high molecular weight carbs are superior. The only thing that differentiates them all is mixability and taste. So when I set out to make Carbolyze, which is a high weight amylopectin, waxy maize type of product, we basically what we did was we pulverized it. We micronized it so that it mixes better and it doesn't goop up at the bottom of the cup, which is what most of them do. And the reason it doesn't do that is because it's such a fine consistency. And when you scoop the carbolize out, you'll actually see sometimes it goes airborne. It's so finely, it's like baby powder almost. And then we have a delicious flavoring system. We have a banana, we have fruit punch, we have mango, and then we also have it unflavored for people who don't want it to change the taste of their whey shake that they mix it with. So I think that if you're looking for a post-workout shake, something that's absorbed quickly and doesn't bother your stomach, the high molecular weight carbs are the way to go.
Dave, we're getting a ton of questions throughout the course of the week. Seemingly anything that we post on social media this week, a lot of the comments will include the same question. Your thoughts on the feud, the beef this week between Rich Piana and Boston Lloyd. I believe we're going to have a video on that, but if you want to lightly touch on the topic.
Yeah, I got so many people who are asking me about that as well that I actually did a reaction video that'll be released later tonight. Johnny's working on that. It's pretty in depth, and I go into my analysis of the two guys because I'm friends with both of them, but they're both right and wrong in the same sense, and I kind of respond to how I felt about it. I love feuds because feuds are great material. People love it. I don't like to be the guy in the feud, but I like to report on feuds because, as they told, I think my fifth grade, when I was in fifth grade, the vice principal told my mother that I am an instigator. And at the time, I didn't know what the word meant. I thought it meant investigate. I thought I was like a private investigator. He said, he thought like I was going to be like a PI or something like that. But it was a negative word. It meant that I like to instigate trouble. It means I like to cause trouble between other people. But the truth be told, Boston has some points. I know he's been really harping on Rich, and Rich has been pretty quiet about it, and then Rich couldn't take it anymore. Now Rich kind of blasted Boston back to the stratosphere. So it'll be interesting. I want to get both of them on Iron Debate. I talked to Rich. Rich is in Dubai this week, and he'd probably do it when he gets back. Boston said no yesterday, but by Monday he might change his mind. So let's see what happens.
Big Vetolino, could you ask Dave who he considers the best poser of all time? He goes on to say that Muhammad Makawi is a favorite of his. So how about this? Let's go with who you think is the best poser of all time, and then who is your favorite poser to watch?
My favorite poser probably was Kai Green, but early Kai Green, not Kai Green when he was 300 pounds. Kai Green when he first started, because he had this unbridled raw energy, and he was lighter. He didn't weigh that much, so he would literally like fly through the air. I mean, the jumps he would do was crazy. He looked like a ballerina, but with a bodybuilder's physique. So to me, Kai was the most entertaining. I think Melvin Anthony might be on a pure level. If you ever seen, I forget which routine, whatever, it was an Ironman he did, the one I believe that Cutler won. I think he was second at that show. That might have been the best pure routine I've ever seen that combined grace with hip hop, with pop and lock. To me, that was brilliant. I thought, there's been so many good poses. I mean, people back in Arnold's day would say Ed Corney was the best poser. Then a little later than that, Muhammad Makawi obviously was a great poser as well. Darren Charles is a great poser. Fred Biggie Smalls. There's been a lot of them. Ricky Tricky Jackson is terrific too. I mean, there have been guys over the years that have just been tremendous. But from a sheer because his physique was so good. You know who was great too? Flex Wheeler was a great poser. I got news for you. He was fantastic on stage. And with that physique, when you have a great physique and you're a good poser, it makes the posing that much more enjoyable. Arnold was a great poser too. But from a sheer entertainment standpoint, I don't think anyone touches Kai Green.
Let's go to Andrew Cortez, longtime listener. After 8 weeks of DECA and test going keto to start leaning out, will DECA still build muscle without carbs?
I got another question from one of my clients today from Brazil, and he's like, my client's body fat is 17%. I guess he can't. When can he start using Primobolan? I said, well, you can start using it right now if he wants to. He's like, well, I heard it won't work if your body fat is over 15%, which was kind of ludicrous when you think about it, because how would a steroid know how much body fat you have? Steroids build muscle. They build and repair muscle. It doesn't matter if you're fat, you're skinny. They do the same thing on everyone's physique. Now, if you use certain hardening agents and you're very lean, you'll see it more. Because if you're smooth and holding water, you're not going to see the results of that, what that steroid does. So all steroids work the same. Now, just to get back to the question, what was the exact question again? I don't want to neglect.
The exact question is, will DECA still build muscle without carbs?
The answer to that is all steroids will build muscle, okay? Whether you eat carbs or not. They really only require protein, is really what is the initiating factor. Obviously, some essential fatty acids will help aid that as well, but carbs don't build muscle. So they're not necessary whether you take steroids or you don't take steroids. If you weight train heavy, if you weight train with high reps, carbs don't matter. They're just a fuel source.
Let's go to Wakar M, and he goes on to say, Sid, can you ask Dave, can you stack Clen and Anavar together, and what side effects can you expect from it?
Well, Anavar is an anabolic steroid, so you can, like I said, you can take that, any anabolic steroid for that matter, and you can stack any anabolic steroid with clenbuterol, and they won't really have a synergistic effect with each other. Clenbuterol is a beta-2 agonist. It basically will burn fat. It opens up your airways. It opens up your blood vessels. It's a dilator. It doesn't really have much of an effect on the heart, so that's good. But steroids work on nuclear receptors of muscle cells, so they don't interact with each other. However, clenbuterol has some sort of anti-catabolic properties to it. It's also a terrific fat mobilizer. And Anavar is just a muscle builder and a strength increaser. So, yeah, they work great together, but they don't really interact with each other.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com. Reminder right now on RxMuscle.com and our YouTube channel, live with Terrence Ruffin, Classic Physique Pro, and Sean Rivera, the 2016 NPC Nationals overall winner. Tomorrow, we're going to have live with George Peterson, who won the overall Classic Physique division down at the NPC Nationals. And earlier, Dave, you brought up Dorian Yates. We get this question often, and I know you answered it way back when, but it is another question about your thoughts on Dorian Yates' high-intensity method training.
Yeah, just to correct you from before, Sean Vasquez is the men's bodybuilding overall champion who we interviewed for live with, so that will be available, Johnny, today or tomorrow? Later today, I think. Vasquez is today. Okay, he'll be a little later today. Talking about Dorian Yates, growing up, when I was coming up in the industry, and trying to put all my size on and compete, Dorian Yates was a physique and methodologies that I really related to. I saw that mass he had, the conditioning, that I said, that's what I want to be like. And his training methodologies worked for me. Less sets, high intensity, heavy weights, he went a little extreme. He went to the Menser, school of thought, or the Casey Viator school of thought, the Arthur Jones school of thought. Like 1 or 2 sets, working sets, maximum intensity, drop sets, strip sets, pushing every last forced rep out. I felt that was smarter to do less sets, heavy weight, and I found that I was able to focus more on the sets, but I felt that 2 sets was just not enough to stimulate the muscle. So I probably was doing 8 set routines, 8 to 10 sets maybe the most. Usually, sometimes I would do for arms like 6 to 8 sets. And the less volume with the heavy weights and the higher intensity, because you can generate more intensity when you don't have to worry about doing 25 sets. If you know that you have one working set where you're going to go heavy and all out, you will put everything you got into it. If you know you still have 4 more sets to do after that, you're not putting everything into it. So I related to his techniques, and I still think to this day it's the best way to grow. I think he went a little extreme, and I think that's why he was hurting himself, because he was doing crazy weights, and just too much intensity almost. Because I think he was so strong that his muscles were stronger than his connective tissue, and that's why he tore muscles. So I never pushed beyond the point where I thought that, hey, I'm going to hurt myself. And but then again, maybe I just wasn't strong enough to do that. I don't know. But I was lifting some heavy weights. I was squatting, almost 700 pounds. I was deadlifting 700. I was benching, 405. But I never went insanely nuts. But the philosophy to me worked well, and I related to it, and it resonated with me. It doesn't work for everyone, but it worked for me.
Johnny Sal just messaged me and said that I said Sean Rivera. My mistake. Sean Rivera is a basketball player, which is bad for me considering that I was just texting with Sean Vasquez minutes ago. But it is Sean Vasquez, 2016 NPC Nationals overall winner. on RxMuscle.com. Aaron Pierce, Dave, wants to know when your next guru class will be. He says he wants to train with you. And I guess the question then goes to if you're going to start having the guru courses in Florida anytime soon.
Yeah, we will go to Florida with these guru courses, but my studio and my new offices are not done yet, so I'm holding off on that. Hopefully that'll be toward the end of January. I am going to have a course in San Diego, California at Derek Farnsworth's gym. That's World Gym there. We're just trying to confirm that date. Right now, it's looking like January 14th. I have a lot of people who want to take that on the West Coast, and some people who want to fly from the East Coast to the West Coast just to get into the good weather there. So I think it's not confirmed yet. Once it's confirmed, it will be up on my website so people can start signing up for it because we have limited space. I also am planning on, I think, doing one the following weekend in New York, believe it or not. We're going back to New York, Johnny and I, to do a Bros vs. Pros and to do a guru course. I think it'll be that on January 21st, I'll do that guru course in ProFit Gym in Deer Park, the old Deer Park Olds Gym. And on Sunday, we'll do Bros vs. Pros. So I'm still confirming those dates. And then when the next one will be in Florida, in our hometown, I don't know. It would probably, because we would do two in January, I might wait till February to do the one in Florida. I have a feeling my facility is not going to be ready till then anyway. But once again, check DavePalumbo.com for now, since I put it on my Facebook page. We put the banners on the RxMuscle website, so they'll be up soon. But we're definitely planning a bunch of courses for January because that's kind of downtime for us.
Next question, Dave. What are some reasons a person may choose Primobolan over other compounds, assuming one can afford a high dose of Primobolan?
I've been getting a lot of Primobolan questions lately. I don't know why I've been getting a lot of texts about it too. Everyone's Primobolan crazy. Back in the day, it was in the 90s. It was really readily available. It was from Spain. Schering made it. It was originally from Germany, but they were also distributing it in Spain. And we were getting amps of Primobolan. We would do like 200 milligrams a week, the most, and I felt results from that. But nowadays, a lot of the Primobolan is fake. It's a lot of it's test propionate, and the best way to confirm that is to use the steroid testing kit known as Roid Test. I sell it at DavePalumbo.com. I sell a ton of these things. Anyone out there who uses anabolic steroids that don't come from a pharmacy should be testing all their stuff to make sure you're not wasting your money. They're cheap tests. You go on DavePalumbo.com under the Roid Test. I have a video on how to use it. I have a paragraph explaining what ampules you should buy to test which products you're looking for. Make sure the Primobolan is real. Assuming it's real, okay, 200 to 300 milligrams a week I think works fine. It's not a standalone type of drug that I would just use by itself. But when combined with other stuff, it works really well. Like testosterone really kicks Primobolan in. I've done Primobolan and Winchell together and gotten a really nice anabolic effect from it for like first time or beginner type users. Works really good. You can even combine Anavar with Primobolan. As far as women go, they better test it because a woman does not want to use test propionate. But if they can get real Primobolan, 25 to 50 milligrams of the stuff, that goes a long, an ampule will last a long time for a woman. Will give them some nice results with very little side effects. Once again, it's a dose dependent thing. If you start doing 100, 200 milligrams a week, as a woman, you're going to get side effects. So I like Primobolan. It can be stacked with pretty much anything. Once again, 2 steroids always work better than 1. 1 plus 1 doesn't equal 2 in steroids. 1 plus 1 equals 5. So they amplify each other. So you always want to try to combine 2 different compounds.
Let's go to Jay Roberts, big fan of the show. Wants to know if he stops the cycle cold turkey and no PCT. He says he did that and got panic attacks and was badly depressed. Do you think that's anxiety, depression? Also, does propecia affect a cycle?
If you stop steroids cold turkey, of course you're going to crash and your mood's going to go from super great to terrible. Anyone who does that on any type of hormones are going to experience that. So that's not a good thing to do. You want to come off slowly, and you definitely want to take something that's going to restart your body's natural production. Now, if you don't have access to like HCG or Clomid or anything like that, you could always use Testalize, which was made by Species Nutrition. It will amplify your natural testosterone. It will lower DHT and estrogen. It will balance your hormones. And that's what causes mood disturbances. lack of balance in the testosterone, estrogen, DHT kind of axis. When those things get out of whack, you feel terrible. Okay, so that's balancing hormones is more important, believe it or not, than stopping the crash. Going from 1,000 milligrams of test a week to nothing, yeah, you might you might get a little bit of muscle loss with that, or you might lose some strength. But the mood swings are from the imbalance between the testosterone, estrogen, and DHT. So that can be fixed with the Testalize. I still would recommend always trying to do some kind of a pro-cycle therapy like of HCG for 2 weeks, and then doing your Clomid for another 2 weeks to turn on the pituitary gland. And we've talked about this in previous Ask Daves, what those two do. Oh, and you asked, what else did you ask? What was the last thing?
Propecia, and if that affects the cycle.
I like Propecia if you're trying to save your hair or your prostate, because Propecia, the drug is known as finasteride. There's a couple of brand names of it. Propecia is the 1 milligram version that's used for hair loss. The 5 milligram version that's used for prostate protection is called Proscar. Finasteride blocks the conversion of testosterone into DHT, or dihydrotestosterone. Obviously, too much DHT can cause hair loss, can cause acne, can cause prostate enlargement. I started taking it for hair loss purposes back in the early 2000s. I never had a prostate problem. I still don't have a prostate problem. And I still take it. The problem is if you start taking finasteride, you need to keep taking it, because any hair you retain or regrow, you'll lose if you go off of it. So if you don't want to take something that you have to take all the time every day, you might want to, once again, try Testalize, because we have some natural versions of our DHT blockers in there, and they work pretty good, and you don't crash if you stop taking the stuff. So I would, once again, it depends on what your goals are.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com. Reminder, if you're watching us for the first time on our YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button below, like this show. We're going to continue to come out with all sorts of new content, especially now that the contest season is winding down. This is going to be your home for original bodybuilding content, news, and analysis. Another thing, over the last couple of weeks, a lot of you have been commenting regarding the look, the sound. Obviously, we're in a transition phase with me being here in New York, Dave and Johnny setting up the makeshift studio. Feel free to comment away. If you have concerns, if you have any suggestions, by all means, again, we're doing this for you. We're doing this for the best fans in bodybuilding, so we do appreciate the feedback as always. Let's continue with the questions. Sharon35. Dave, how true is it that when you're done working out, you need to take your protein right away? What time window do I really have?
Well, look, I mean, you don't have to eat the minute you leave the gym. I mean, you're not going to not recover if you wait a half hour to go eat your food or eat your meal. However, if you take a post-workout shake that's rapidly absorbed, like a whey isolate, like Isolyze, that's going to immediately start the protein repair process. Obviously, the faster you can start, rebuilding muscle and building new muscle, the better you're going to get, a better effect you're going to get. So I always recommend people bring a post-workout shake with them, off-season wise. I'm talking about, not pre-contest. And as soon as you leave the gym, you take, at least 50. If you're a guy, 50 grams of, or 50 to 60 grams of whey isolate with, another 40 grams of like a high molecular weight carb. Add some water, shake it up, and just guzzle it down. And then take your time getting home. You got to go to the supermarket, buy food. You do that. Whatever you got to do, you don't have to worry. You got protein and carbs in your system. The protein's repairing the muscle. Carbs are reglycogenating the glycogen stores in the muscle, and all's good in the world. Otherwise, the longer you wait, the longer you're delaying the repair of the muscle.
Let's go to Jason Brown. Dave, he says he saw your video on Titan Medical, and he wants to know if they take most health insurances, or do you have to pay out of pocket?
Yeah, this is when you go for hormone replacement, that's not a necessity unless you have super crazy low testosterone, in which case your doctor might be able to prescribe it. It might be covered one shot, but they're not going to give you higher dosages. Titan will give you a little higher than your regular doctor will give you. So if you're looking to get something and without having to go to a doctor and see them in person, you want to do a Skype interview with the Titan people, I advise you to contact TitanMedicalCenter.com. When you call that, tell them Dave Palumbo sent you, or you saw it on RxMuscle. They're going to give you a discount. They'll write a prescription for blood work. The blood work can be written off your insurance if you have insurance. You can go to your Quest Diagnostics or LabCorp, what your insurance company takes. But then you're going to have to pay for whatever supplements you buy from them, whether it be testosterone, HCG, the aromatase inhibitors, or any of their terrific vitamin mixes. I got to tell you, I've been using their injectable glutathione mix, and it's terrific. And Charisse from Titan called me up the other day, and she's like, "We got better stuff I'm sending you." I'm like, "All right, send it over." You know me. I'm like a little kid on Christmas. I'm like, I'll try anything. So she's sending me a whole bunch of different ones. I actually sometimes use their pre-workout stack too. And once again, it's another injectable amino acid stack. It's like citrulline, it's arginine, it's all those nitric oxide boosting compounds, and I get a great pump on this stuff. So I love injectables, because when you put stuff into your bloodstream, it's going in there. When you take it orally, who knows if it's getting in there. So definitely call them up. Look at their website, titanmedicalcenter.com. And, they're really good on the phone. They'll answer all your questions. You don't have to be afraid to ask them anything. They know what bodybuilders do. And I think that you're going to find that it's a very comfortable environment to order from.
Dedgwick wants to know what the difference is, Dave, between Arimidex and Cymex.
And what was the second thing? And what is it? Arimidex and what?
Cymex, Symex. In parentheses, examestane.
Oh, okay, because they call that Aromacin. They call that here. They're pretty much the same. They block the conversion of testosterone into estrogen. Everyone has their own theories about, well, this one will affect your cholesterol levels and this one won't. It's bull crap. They all do the same thing. They block conversion of testosterone into estrogen. They inhibit the enzyme, the aromatase enzyme that converts the testosterone into the estrogen, and that's all they do. Some people respond to one better than others. They all should theoretically work the same, but I've seen in certain people, some people respond to letrozole, which is Femara, better than they do Arimidex. Some people don't respond to Arimidex and Femara as well, and they like Aromacin better. I always used Arimidex and got great results from it. I can't, I never really used the other ones. But, if something is not working and you're taking it and your estrogen levels are still high when you get blood tested, then you got to try something else. For most people, all three of them will work equally well.
Rob Team Fisher, hi Dave, peptides on PCT, yes or no?
You could use peptides when you're off cycle if you want to. I don't think that's a problem, because peptides respond and bind to receptors on the cell membrane, whereas steroids bind to nuclear receptors. So they work by different mechanisms. So you're not really going to interrupt the post-cycle or the recovery detoxification process. I will say this, however. If you're doing steroids the majority of the year, 8 months, 9 months out of the year, and you're going off 2-3 months out of the year, if you go off, maybe you should just go off. Clean your body out. I always like to just do nothing. Just do vitamins and stuff like that, and train healthy and drink a lot of water and just clean yourself out. Give yourself a break. You don't always have to be injecting something. Sometimes it's nice for 4 to 6 weeks to just do nothing.
JDub798 wants to know how to increase arm size, breaking down by triceps and forearms. So if you want to break it down by triceps and forearms.
It's hard for me to go over workouts while I'm sitting in a chair in a studio. If I was in the gym, I could show you some good stuff. I always found that people that have long arms, that have trouble building their arm size, they respond usually better to unilateral cable movements. That means one arm at a time, cable type movements that are really concentrated, reverse grip pull downs, one arm push downs, overhead cable extensions, kickbacks. I do everything with a cable. And you know what? That built my arms better than any barbell curls, dumbbell curls, or those crazy easy curl bars did for me. I just never felt those stuff. I felt that the concentrated movement's better, and I used heavy weight. That's the key. People think when they do cable curls that it's got to be lightweight. No, I used to do super heavyweight with the cable curls, and I built a lot of muscle doing that. So if the conventional exercises, the barbell curls, the French presses, are not working for you for arms, try that. And if that fails, you could always use site injection oils like Chris Clark Synthesize or Painless Pumps. I sell them both on my website. If you email me at huge285@AOL.com, I always tell people this. I will send you the injection protocols to show you how at least I feel they work best.
On a closing note, Dave, people have been asking, what are you eating for your Thanksgiving feast tomorrow with your family?
It's a good question. This is one of the few years that I am not cooking anything, or at least having someone in my household cook something. So I don't really have a turkey in the oven, so to speak. We're lucky we have anything in our refrigerator because it's been so hectic with the move and everything like that. I will probably go out and find some place that's having some kind of a Thanksgiving Day, restaurant, meal. If I don't find one that's satisfactory, I will probably wind up eating Japanese food, which to me is eternally great every single day. I can eat Japanese. I feel like my dad says, I think I might be Japanese in like a former life or something like that, because I enjoy Asian food. It's light, but it tastes good. It's got a unique taste that you don't really get in anything you can kind of cook in your house. And so if I don't find a Thanksgiving Day place to go to, I'm definitely going to think about going to Asian food. Or I might do both. I might go out twice. But the Asian places are usually open on Thanksgiving, although usually most restaurants are on Thanksgiving. It's Christmas. Sometimes you have trouble finding places that are open. And that's when I usually wind up at the Chinese takeout place. But I just want to wish everyone out there a very happy Thanksgiving. And I know sometimes we take for granted the people we love around us and all the benefits we have of living in this country and the freedoms we have. And I think it's a good day to reflect on all the positive things in our life, rather than say, oh, my asshole hurts, or my ear is ringing, or I have no money to buy my next cycle. Forget about all the crap and all the negativity. Focus on the positive tomorrow on Thanksgiving and give thanks for what you do have. Don't think about what you don't have tomorrow. Let's just take one day out of the year to be thankful for what we have and for the people around us and our family. And I want to thank everyone for supporting RxMuscle and everything we do, and especially being patient with the move down here to Florida. We got great stuff planned for 2017. Don't give up on us. If you love all the content, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
And with that, happy Thanksgiving to you, Dave, Johnny, all the families down there in Florida, and a special happy Thanksgiving greeting to you, our RxMuscle fans. Yes.
What do you do? What do the Pakistanis do on Thanksgiving? Do you have any kind of special foods?
We actually have the exact same Thanksgiving. You could go into our house, and we're gonna have the exact same turkey, cranberry sauce, stuffing, mashed potatoes, the trimmings, everything. It is oddly enough, Pakistanis in this country, ever since we've been here, since 1950s or so, Thanksgiving is the one thing we have adopted as completely the same. We have not added any of our cultural touches. The turkey's not too spicy. It is the exact same taste. It is literally an all-American holiday, and this is exactly how we plan on celebrating it.
Well, I hope you and your family have a great Thanksgiving. And everyone, once again, don't forget the my reaction to the Boston Lloyd Rich Piana feud video is going to be up a little later tonight. So while you're home, planning for tomorrow's feast, you can check it out and hopefully get a good laugh out of it.
We will see you next week. Happy Thanksgivings to you all. See you next time.